David Carr was the number one overall pick by the Texans back in 2002. And you'll find him on NFL Game Day Final this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. What was the biggest school to offer you a scholarship?
UCLA in Washington, but Pat Hill was not going to have that, Dan. He rolled into my house fresh off the airplane in Cleveland as the offensive line assistant. And he had a taped up duffel bag, sat down in my living room and just wouldn't leave. I was like, Pat, we got to get on a flight tomorrow to go to Washington. Maybe he's like, no, you're going to play quarterback for me. We're going to handle the trenches. And it was just so unique. And he's my favorite. I saw him 2 days ago with Derek, and we went over and just kind of spent some time with him. But he's still out there. He's still at Fresno State holding the cards for the practice squad. Like, he literally is running the scout team defense to get those guys ready. So love his heart, man. He's awesome.
More important to have a better relationship with your head coach or your offensive coordinator?
Offensive coordinator, hands down. I mean, he's the guy that he's in your ear. The head coach, if you have a defensive-minded head coach, you rarely talk to him. I remember I talked to Dom Capers in Houston right before the game, like about an hour and a half before the game in his office. And it was like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. Like, what's the plan today? And it's really unique, but the offensive coordinator you talk to at every moment.
Wait. So your debut, you didn't talk to your head coach until an hour before the game?
Not like a formal meeting or nothing really X's and O's wise. He just kind of brought me in his office and like, this is cool. It's like being in the principal's office a little bit. How are we going to do this thing? But it worked out all right.
But that coordinator you're tied to, and we find, well, you can look at track records with quarterbacks and go, how many offensive coordinators have they burned through or head coaches there? And sometimes we don't factor that in when somebody's successful or they're not. But we should factor that in a lot more than we do.
You absolutely should. I mean, I think that it's just so difficult because you invest all of your time and energy into learning this system and like ingraining it into your vocabulary. I mean, so much so that my wife will tell you, I would literally like say audibles in my sleep and I would just bark out these cadence. And it's like, you have to internalize it. And then it's like, okay, well, he's not good enough. Let's get another one. And hey, you got to memorize all these calls. I've gotten to the line of scrimmage before and called the wrong audible from the previous offense. I did it in New York. So they just come off a Super Bowl. I landed with the Giants. I go up to the line of scrimmage. I know the play I want to get to, weak side, inside zone run. And I check to the wrong play. And Sean O'Hara turns around, looks at me. He's like, what? Like literally mid play. We got it right. He figured it out for me. Having a great center is always a good backup plan.
But is there like common verbiage though for all quarterbacks that, maybe a different color or a number or whatever, but it all is sort of the same?
All the plays are the same. Like we just call them something different. So what you have to do is, I actually heard a great Keenan Allen was talking about this before the broadcast the other day, Chargers Chiefs. And he's like, honestly, it's the same plays. I just have to kind of memorize what words they're using. And so it's all the same stuff. And it's a copycat league. You see like Ben Johnson's had success the last couple of years. Well, everybody just rips his stuff. They just call it something else. I'm like, well, you just stole his copyright infringement right here. But it's all the same stuff. You just got to figure out what the new terms are.
Give me the team that stood out, either good or bad, from week one.
Well, Miami was obviously, it was on the same field as the team that actually stood out as good. So it's like, you think Miami's going to go in there with Tyreek and okay, there's no captainship there. And he's not the leader. He'll still make some plays. But like in Indy, Daniel Jones is the guy that we ran out of town in New York. He's not good enough to play there. And so he lands in Indy and he's surrounded by a good cast. Obviously schematically had some good answers. He made some great checks at the line of scrimmage, by the way. I mean, he was really on it. It was funny because he looked like Peyton. Because you get in the same uniform, you're in that building, you start to say, well, he's got the same mannerisms. It's really unique. So I'm going to study and follow Indy the rest of the year. But Miami was kind of disappointing, but they'll bounce back. They'll be okay. Tua didn't play as bad as people thought he did. They have some schematic issues. Like they were bringing extra pressures off the edges. They really hit him with some timely blitzes that wasn't fortunate for Miami. That was unique. I think that when you look around, like the quarterbacks that moved into different scenarios, like you talk about Russ, like Russ was on a playoff team last year. He lands in New York and now, he can't play anymore. Well, Daniel Jones left New York and now he all of a sudden can play. So it's like, are we talking about the scenario? Are we talking about the surrounding components, or are we talking about specific players? So I think that's going to be the fun part as we go forward, is like, these guys are in good situations. They're going to play well. These guys are in bad situations. They're not going to play well. Like, is Jackson Dart going in New York? Like, I don't necessarily think Jackson Dart's going to solve your problems that you have in New York. So it'll be fun to watch it.
He's David Carr, NFL Network analyst. You can see him on NFL Game Day Final this Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. When Peyton changed the game, calling plays at the line of scrimmage, was there pressure on other quarterbacks and offensive coordinators like, we have to do the same thing?
We tried to mimic it. Like, there was even a scenario. We played the Rams. So I feel like I'm responsible for the birth of Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Fitz magic, because so we're playing the Rams at home in Houston. My offensive coordinator decides, hey, we're going to let you go to the line of scrimmage and call your own plays. I'm like, fantastic. That's great. We're going to get in one formation. So we played fast. I mean, I didn't have a ton of them. I mean, Peyton has, it's endless, his catalog that he can get to. I had like 7 plays. All right. So we ran our 7 plays. We get up 21. We're up. Like, we're winning. And then we get to the halftime, and the offensive coordinator comes in and he says, hey, that was great, but what we're going to do now is we're going to establish the run. So then he takes the play sheet from me. So now he goes into his, we're going to hang on to the ball. We're going to keep it away from him. Here comes the points, right? Ryan Fitzpatrick blasts his way all the way back. They end up beating us on the last play of the game because it got taken away. But it was so fun. It was so freeing. Like, as a quarterback, I loved having that ability and that freedom. And you end up taking an ownership. It's like if you're teaching someone something, like, you just automatically, you learn it better yourself. And I think that's the fun part about that. And that's kind of what I miss, honestly, about the current quarterback state, is there's not a lot of those guys doing that anymore. There are some, and like, that's why I got so excited about Daniel Jones, because he's up there making checks, moving guys around. He has that ability. Dak was doing that the other day. They didn't win, but Dak's got full ownership of that. I was in Oxnard watching them practice. He's going to play better this year. See, he's going to catch the ball. Obviously, he might actually turn out to be a good receiver. But there's those types of players. I still think you have to be able to do that, because you look at Josh Allen, you look at, as great as Josh is, love Josh, at Lamar, at some point, like, why haven't they been able to get over the hump? It's because of that. It's because of that ownership at the line of scrimmage in those crucial situations. That's why Pat Mahomes is still the guy. Like, you can say what you want about him, maybe put him down the list 4 or 5, but when it comes down to it, his notes are meticulous. He's got a great play caller. They know the answers to the test. They know the problems that you're going to bring them, and they have answers for them. And I think that there's still that element that you have to have that component. Like, and Brady, if Brady was here, he'd be telling you, like, that's all that matters. I still think that there's a physicality about it. Like, you see, Lamar's back there running down John Hussey, where now the referee's in a full sprint trying to get away from him. Lamar ends up making 30 yards. There's the element of that you have to play quarterback in this league still, but you have to be able to win and diagnose problems from the pocket and solve them. That's
why when we get quarterback rankings, I say, well, that's regular season. Because if we have postseason rankings, the rankings are completely different. You have Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, right?
That's right. I couldn't agree more.
They're 1-2.
Exactly right. They're 1-2. And that's exactly for that reason that we laid out. And we were like, well, what's the difference? That is the difference, because you get guys like Steve Spagnuolo, you get these defensive coordinators that know your protection scheme better than you, honestly. And I've talked to some of these quarterbacks, and I love them. They'll go nameless. They don't know their protection schemes as well as some of these defensive coordinators that are facing them. They know how to bring the 4 week. That's the reason that Jared Goff is no longer in LA, because that 4 week pressure that they didn't have an answer for, they had to find a guy that could kind of cover that up. And it was Matt Stafford. So there's
But what is Stafford doing differently than Goff didn't recognize it?
Well, they didn't really ask him to. In some systems, and this is what happened to Miami the other day. So Tua's getting hit by these 4 week pressures, these extra safety defenders that they are unaccounted for. And so in those systems, you use tight formations, you use shifts, motions, the speed of Tyreek Hill and that little quick motion that everyone's calling illegal. Like, you use that stuff to kind of cover that stuff up. But when it comes down to it, those good coordinators are going to time it up right, where they know, like Vic Fangio knows. I was with him in Houston. He believes that he can guess the offense's play based on the personnel group and the down and distance. And he's right a lot of times. So they win the Super Bowl because those guys understand how to attack structure, how to attack quarterbacks. And it's just, you got to have that. You got to have that ability to pick that up. And what Stafford does, honestly, is he's just so good at defeating it, buying time. They used to tell us in the quarterback room. You bring that extra pressure. Hey, guys, buy time. Like, hey, hold on. I don't have time to buy. With what credit am I using to buy this time? I don't have it, man. I'm not that guy. But Stafford can just kind of make it physically, so he kind of covers up for a lot of that stuff.
We hear a lot of this when these guys come out of college, that in college you can have 4 seconds and you could get out of trouble and you could hold on to the ball and you could try to be a hero. You can't do that in the NFL. But I'm curious about teaching getting the ball out, teaching stepping up in the pocket as opposed to rolling out away from pressure.
Yeah.
Is it teachable to get the ball out as quickly as possible, to stay in the pocket, all those things that you're taught?
So what happens is, and I've been in there, unfortunately, when it's falling apart and guys are falling, you're getting pressure, and it's just like, well, the only positive play we had when I was in Houston at times was me scrambling to the right and finding Corey Bradford after the play had already started, right? So I would just literally we'd get out in the red zone. I'm like, Corey, if I don't throw it to you right away, just find me, work with me on the back end line. And I literally threw like 5 or 6 touchdowns my second year just doing that because we couldn't hold up inside. So that's the problem, is because it's just human nature. It's default for some of these guys to say, I can just scramble out. And I hate it. I did it 100,000 times as a quarterback, but the scramble out to the right, throw away, or just trying to find, it bothers me so much. I have so much respect for the quarterbacks that can climb and step up in the pocket and trust their guys. So what you have to do is you have to really lock in to your schematics. You have to really trust your offensive coordinators. So you can tell the guys that trust their OCs, that trust their play callers, they climb up in the pocket. I trust that fifth guy is going to be there, or that check down is going to be there. Either Brock Purdy's finding Christian McCaffrey, like Dak even did it the other day, climbing up in the pocket. Like, he just trusts that we're going to make it work. Joe Burrow does that at times. Joe Burrow took some shots the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, he was getting wrecked, but he trusts it. He knows where his guys are. So it really comes down to really digging into what you're doing, your belief in your play caller, and the fact he's going to put you in a good position.
Can you put us in that situation where you're stepping up in the pocket and there's chaos around you?
There's no words that can describe it, man. It's just like, you have to have such a faith that your guys are going to win down the field, that your scheme is right for the play that you have. And that's why veteran quarterbacks so much want ownership of the offense. And kind of like we were talking about earlier, where I want to call the play, because I know where the answer is. And if I get in trouble, I know I can get out of it. The thing that bothers you the most is when you have a protection, but you go to step up and you don't have a winner. You don't have guys that are going to win, especially based on the coverage that you have. And it's really hard, because then you go back into those bad habits of like, let me just create, let me just try and make a play. And now you're just out there. You're not going to consistently win. That's why, like, Brady was always great, because he would, and even Manning, they know where they're going before the ball. Like, you talk about, like, he's staring down a receiver. Absolutely. He's staring to the exact spot on the field that he's going to throw this football. And he's going to do it in less than 2 seconds. Good luck getting to him. So if you can get to that point in your offense, then you got to figure it out.
But Brady could still play today.
Absolutely. He absolutely could still play. Peyton could still play. If he could throw it 20 yards, I don't know if his neck would let him. But, I mean, yeah, you get to a point where if you can just keep the physical ability, like, that's why it was so interesting talking to Flacco. I went out to Cleveland, saw him. I'm like, well, how do you feel? Because that's what quarterbacks want to ask the veteran guys. Like, do you feel like you can go out there and do it physically? Because mentally, the more reps you get, there isn't a defense on earth that these guys can invent that you haven't seen and that you don't have an answer for. So it's just keeping that physical ability on par with your mental game.
Were you rooting for Caleb Williams to break your sack record?
That's tough, man. I know how bad I felt at that moment, and I didn't want, because I was like contemplating, do I want to play football anymore? Like, this is kind of hard. I've played every sport. Like, I feel like you can figure it out eventually. Like, you play golf, like, you're going to figure it out. Like, you give me enough time, I'll find a way to win. But it was hard, man. Like, because that's something that's so out of your control. So for me, like, when I'm watching him, I kind of didn't want him to, honestly. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I didn't want him to break the record, because I don't want anybody to have to go through that, because he might not play football anymore. Like, he might not want to do it. It's so hard to go through all the stuff we've talked about. Ownership of the offense, leadership, like being in the right place at the right time, doing all the right things. And then you do everything right. That's what I struggled so much with, is like, I remember telling my wife one night, I was like, I don't know physically or mentally what else to do. Like, I don't know what else to do. And so when you get to that point, that's a tough, someone's got to bring you back, because it's got to be something outside of yourself. So fortunately for me, I had some great people around me and some good coaches eventually. And I got to New York and I found out football was easy. So, I mean, that was my favorite part.
76 sacks in one season. So you're
man.
first and third on the.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We went 76, and then we kind of skipped a year, had a good year, had I think 50, and then we said, we're going to go back up there. We got to get our numbers up.
68.
We're too low.
You went from 76 and then just back up to 68.
Yeah, that's right. I felt great. New hip. I got brand new hip, titanium. Feels great. It's the best joint that I have in my body. Works better than all the other ones. It's fantastic.
We got your brother on tomorrow.
He's going to be great, man. He's so fun. He did that pregame show for the Chargers Chiefs the other day.
He did great. He
just loves talking football. He loves talking football. So we're actually doing a show, Homegrown Network. We just launched our second show. It's going to be today. And we're just talking about quarterbacks. Like, all the stuff that we're talking about, it's so fun to be able to talk about it with him because I've done it my whole life with him. But he's right in it. Like you talk about like the schematics and what these guys are doing and all the different offenses. He's had everybody. Like you talk about a team, like he's had that guy as a coordinator, so he knows the intricacies. I think I do. But then I even find myself, I'm like, hey, what are they actually doing right here? And he'll just literally break it down. So it's been super fun to do that. But yeah, he'll be a blast to talk to.
Do you joke with your brother about the Tom Brady wanting to be a Raider and then yelling at the Raiders that you're going to keep him over me?
Yeah, there's some things that we joke about that probably don't need to be on TV. So you go, feel free, man. Feel free to see what he says. But look, it's so funny because like literally the same day that even like the last couple of days that stuff has kind of resurfaced. He's on the phone with Mark Davis. Like, so Mark is just, he wants a good team. He wants a good product. He wants someone in the building. Like, that's why Tom's there right now. He wants a guy that can kind of push this football thing forward. He knows he's a smart guy. Like he understands that he doesn't have all the answers. So yeah, it's a good time, man.
Oh my God. When, everybody wanted to know, well, what guys is he talking about? What team is Brady talking about? And you know how Brady,
Oh yeah.
tough guy. You're going to keep that bleep,
Sure. I mean, every quarterback feels that way. Like you absolutely, if you don't feel that way, then why? I mean, that's why he's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, if not the greatest. Like because he has that competitive spirit. Like, yeah, I can absolutely come in and do that job. Bro, Dan, I feel like I can go out there right now. I absolutely cannot and take half these guys' jobs. I cannot do it, just for the record.
You're not better than Flacco?
Absolutely not. Okay. First of all, the guy's the size of this wall. Like he's 6'8", and he feels completely healthy. I have a bad hip, so he's got me.
Roethlisberger could probably still play.
100%. Like I haven't seen Roethlisberger's shape like recently.
Okay. But he was always big. I don't know if he was ever cut.
Big for a while is a different thing. Like big in football. Like I remember talking to Ben. He might hate me for telling this story, but we had the lockout, and we ended up playing them in the preseason. And so this was after no one has been doing anything really. Like, we've been trying. We were in the building. Like we're trying to go, put workouts together. Ben said, Dave, I haven't put on cleats since Christmas. And this is August. So I'm like, Ben's been out for a while. What's he like right now? I don't know, Dan. I don't know.
300?
Possibly pushing it.
Yeah.
Possibly pushing it. Yeah.
Big dude.
I'm concerned.
Great stories. Great appearance. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, man. Always enjoy it.
That's
See you, buddy.
David Carr. He's the former number one pick by the Texans back in 2002. Won a Super Bowl with the G-Men.